Hey everybody, good to see you again. Glad you're following and glad you're subscribing. And I'm glad you keep coming back and giving me a listen. So we're going to continue today on reading music. So this is not for everybody, but it's a good thing to know. And it'll just only make you a better musician in the long run, and able to actually play chord charts and actually the melody or even solos if you get good enough. So we started with the song American the Beautiful. We're only going to go over the first line. We're going to go with a little bit of a review to start with. Okay? So once again, we talked about your staff, and we talked about the 5 lines on the staff and what's between them. And we talked about the notes that are between the lines in the 4 spaces. From the bottom is F, A, C, and E, or the word face. We also told you that the lines starting at the bottom are E, G, B, D, and F. And an easy way to remember that is every good boy does fine. Okay? It's still, every note on the staff from line to line is just your alphabet. Okay? You're starting with you're starting with E, and then you're going to F. The second line is G, and then all of a sudden you're starting over again, because after G we go to A in the next space. And it's the same thing, and when you go above the top line, which is F, you just continue with the alphabet. After the last line, which is F, you go to G. And if there's another note with a line through it, you're back to A. The same thing below the staff. You're going to see notes down there also, okay? And if the first line is an E, in the word every, then the note before it is D, if it's right below the line. If it's below it with a line, another note and below the line, okay, it's a C. And then it continued, B, A, and then G, because a lot of notes will go below the staff, and sometimes the notes will go beyond it. It's almost like you can think the guitar is similar to like a piano. All the keys left of the piano are more of the bass notes, which for a guitar would be the top 2 strings, your E and your A. When you're sitting at the piano and you're playing right in front of you, well, that's more of like the middle range, and that's more like your middle strings, okay? It could be the A, but it could be more of like the G and the D, maybe the B. If you've got notes that go above the staff, then those are the notes that are going to be more like, for your B and your E string, or when the piano deal is that way to your right are the higher notes. So it's kind of the same thing on guitar. We talked about, learning all the notes on the guitar, because you can't read music unless you know where the notes are on your guitar. And we talked about just learning for the first 4 or 5 frets, okay? Because in the beginning, we can utilize all the open strings to play these very simple songs. You've got your open strings, your E, A, D, G, B, and E again. So that's what we're going to incorporate here in going through this again, American the Beautiful. When we start with a note in the first measure, that's usually like a pick-me-up, to get started with the song. So again, if it's 4/4, it means there's 4 quarter notes per measure. So remember, you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a quarter note, is a black circle with a line. The line may go up, it may go down. The first note after that in the first measure has a dot on it. So that is a quarter note, but when it has a dot, you give it an additional half of a quarter note to count. So you just don't go 1 and, it's like 1 and 2. You have to get to the next counting note. Then you have an eighth note here, okay? And that just gets, a really quick, half of a beat. It's like a one and. The and would be that eighth note. So meaning that when you're counting, this is 1 and 2, and then is, ending that 2. Because a lot of times you have to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and to make sure you're counting correctly. You're also going to be able to learn that when you're reading along the staffs here, measure to measure, there are chords above it. So even just learning playing the chords, for each measure is another good thing to know, okay? So, where are we starting here with? The first note is on the second line, so that's a G, okay? The next note, again, is another G, okay? And then we go to an F, and then we go to an E, and then we go to a G. So you have to know where the note is on your guitar, okay? As far as counting, like I said, you're going to be counting to yourself 1, 2, 3, and then on 4, you're going to play the first G note, okay? And that could be the open string on your guitar. So when you're first getting started here, 1, 2, 3, G, G, and then you count that for 1.5 beats. And you're going to go to F, and then E, and then G. So it's 1, 2, 3, G, G, F, E, G, G. Okay, so you've got to count. You've got to know where the notes are on the guitar. Let me go through it again. 1, 2, 3. G, G, F, I'm sorry. E, E, G, G, D, D. Okay. E, F, G, A, B. And we're going to go down here, which is a half note with a dot. So that means it gets counted 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. You got to know where the notes are on the guitar. So again, and let me just try and set this up a little bit better for you to see. And I can see it too to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. So again, and it really helps, if you already know the melody of the song. A lot of times you're going to have a song and you have no idea, what the melody would be, and you really got to know how to count. So again, 1, 2, 3, G, G, E, E, G, G, D, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, 2, 3. And then it kind of begins again, okay? So let me just kind of show you on the guitar. And hopefully not confusing you. I can get this song to all of you that would be interested in having the music, but I would have to just charge a little bit for that. So again, I'm not going to be able to show it to you right now, but I'm going to do open string here for that GG. I missed one note. So do you just kind of, you kind of see what I'm doing here? I'm moving open string with the 2 G's, G, G, then I'm hitting E on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Now I'm going open again. And then the Ds that come up can be open D. And then we can go to the run, which is like 4 quarter notes. F, G, A, and then B is open, and then G is open. So that's just the first sentence. I just wanted to get going, continue little by little, step by step, not rushing anybody to learn how to read. But this is how you start. This is where it begins, with very little simple songs. Just have half notes, whole notes, quarter notes. Maybe they are dotted, so you have to count a little bit. But counting is so important. You just have to be counting all the time. And maybe you naturally do it in your bands or when you're playing. To read, you need to count. We're just going to be doing 4/4, which means there's going to be 4 beats in every measure. And the quarter note is basically, what gets the one beat. So I hope you like this lesson. We're going to continue every week with more training on reading, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.